back YouTube. My name is Mo Crypto. Today we're going to be going through Litecoin, why it's such a good coin to own, why it's such a safe investment right now, and what we can be expecting in the next coming days of when we should be buying it, when we should be selling it, when we should be taking the profits in. Okay, so I want to get started as soon as possible, and for that I need all of you lot to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and just follow the channel, okay? Because as soon as I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to release my portfolio to show you exactly what I'm owning. You can see my past videos to see how my suggestions have played out. Zilliqa, for example, is up 50%. That's just one of the examples. I haven't been able to make a video on every single currency that I own, but as soon as I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to show you my portfolio, and you subbing is just going to help me make videos on a more regular basis and provide as much value as possible. So I'd really appreciate that. Go ahead and let's get started. So first of all, Litecoin, it's such an important investment right now, or just in general in the crypto world, just because of its affiliations with PayPal. PayPal is one of the biggest online transaction retailers in the world. It's got 26 million merchants online. It's got 346 million active accounts around the world, right? So if something like PayPal is saying that it's going to adopt Litecoin, then in the future when crypto, which I believe is going to be the way that the world is headed, you can imagine the value that Litecoin is going to have, and it's going to be one of the first coins to be on the PayPal platform, right? So you can see this article, it talks about it a little bit more, and also you can see it on the PayPal website as well. So obviously we've seen the surge because of the news and everything. The news was, you can see it was in October last year, but it just goes to show that it's an amazing investment in the long term, and we can see some really solid and safe returns as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to the analysis. I've got the daily here, right, and on the daily I've drawn a support region / resistance region here. So it was resistance. We had a breakout here, went right back down. It tested that as a resistance here as well. Then finally, when it got to this point in November 2020, you can see that it developed it as support, and from then it has been going up as well. Okay, so that's one point where we've seen the resistance play out. The next point that I want to show you is the next resistance zone, which I believe played out pretty well. So it's around here as well. Okay, so you can see a breakout, okay, when it sort of spiked up, and then from this breakout it's came back down, being resisted by this region at $158. Then when it's broken through that, finally it came back up and established it as support. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be using to show you my Fibonacci retracement. If you watch this channel, you know how much I love the Fibonacci retracement, just because of how well it normally plays out. You can see even even here what we've got going on. So within this golden zone, you can see there's always some sort of testing or consolidation going on, and that's why I love to use it, right? So you can see within this region, once it's broken past this region, this is where it spiked up from. Okay, so right now let's go into the 4-hourly, and you'll be able to see what I mean in a lot more detail as well. You can see that it was tested a few times here. It was tested a few times here right at the bottom. Once it's broken through, it's played around here for a little bit, and then once it's broken through, it's went right back up. Okay, so you can see what's sort of been happening there. Okay, the next thing I want to draw on are some trend lines that I can see occurring here. So we've got one trend line here. Okay, I'm just going to put that on. Right, so the next trend line that I can see is right about here. Okay, so we can see there was a testing there right at the beginning. You'll see this when I've drawn this in a little bit more detail as well, but as we go on, let's have a look at it a little bit closer. So what we see here is that here it's bounced up against this trend line, it's hit it, developed it as support, went back up, and then tested it quite a few times. So tested it here, tested it here, tested it here, and we can also see at this bottom one, it's been this sort of support region right at the bottom. Okay, so that's what I feel like is happening with this, and you can see it's making a wedge, but it's broken through, and as soon as it's broken through, you can see that it has rocketed up. It's bounced up. Okay, so what do I see happening from here? Obviously, long term, I can see it going extremely high, but in the short term, what can we sort of expect, and when should you buy into it? Okay, so right now I do see it coming back and hitting this and establishing a support. Okay, once it establishes this as a support, I do reckon that it will come up, okay, and hit that all-time high region. Hit that all-time high region. There will be some resistance there, as it's such a psychological breaking point as well at around $250. Okay, so at $250, it'll show some resistance there, and then most likely will come back down. And then if it breaks that again, that's that next resistance region that we do want to break. Okay, so that's one of our scenarios that we have there. Let's just have a look at the sort of profits you could make. Remember, this is a very short term and safe sort of scenario that you could have, so about 15% from that part, and then on top of that 20% and above. Okay, so depending on how much money you have, I reckon it's a safe investment, and it's not one of those altcoins where it's got a lot of hype right now and it's just going to be pushed forward and then drop 50-60%. One, the value is quite stable, it's got a high market cap as well, so it just means it's a very stable coin to invest in. Okay, the next scenario, which I feel like is sort of even better, is if it doesn't establish this top trend line as support. If it doesn't establish it as support, we can see it come down to this line. Okay, and if it comes down to this line, you can see that it's been showing this as support for quite a while now. So I'd be very, very surprised if it didn't show that support. And you can see it's at the top of this Fibonacci region here as well. So it's going to bounce off here at $203, $205. I reckon this would be a very good buying point. And then you can see this ascending wedge over here. So within this wedge, bounce through here, compress that price down, give it all the energy to explode fundamentally. Okay, so that's what I see going on there, and I feel like that's an even better scenario. Okay, so you don't want to be buying at 220 if you want scenario 1 to play out, 205 if you want scenario 2 to play out. And you can see if I draw another resistance line here as well, just right at the top of that Fibonacci region, you can see how many times it's tested that as well. Okay, tested it here, broken through, and then went right back up. So this is a major region that we really need to look out for, the $205. Okay, now let's look at the sort of profits you could make from there. So again, from here it's about 20% and then 25%. So remember, this coin, although it's not got mad numbers at the minute, it's a safe coin and it's a long-term hold that I just want all of you lot to be getting a good position in right now. Okay, now we've got those scenarios. What could be the bearish scenario? Okay, so worst comes to worst, we're basically saying it's going to be breaking this line here. Breaking this line, this is the next region where there's going to be support. Essentially it'll come back there, and then if it tests this region again and we're not bullish, then we can see it most likely coming back to this $159 region over here. Okay, if that happens, then I would still wait. I would buy more of it. I feel like it's an excellent opportunity to buy. I always get excited when coins go down, because when they go down, it just means that I can buy more, decrease my dollar cost average. So after decreasing my dollar cost average, it just means that when the coin does go up, we're just going to make a lot more profit. So there you go, guys. That's my technical analysis on Litecoin. So like and subscribe. Like I said, it's really going to help me out, provide you guys a lot more value as well. So there you go. Cheers.